Hi Aquarius, welcome to your horoscope. Aquarius, today we're going to talk about the current season, what's happening right now, and we're going to talk about a long-term transit, which is Saturn square Uranus. This is an aspect which will become exact in 2021, but because Saturn, your traditional ruler, is right now standing still about to go retrograde on 11th of May, you would be experiencing that aspect as a preview of 2021. Let's first talk about the season that we are in currently. We are in the season when your work life and your career, the balance between your career and your home and family life comes into focus. It's a time when we infuse fresh energy into our personal life. We start new initiatives in our personal life. It could be that we make some improvements at home, or there is more time with the family, which most of us are getting, but especially for you, bonding, renewing the relationship, family activities, opening up about our feelings to family. It's the time of intimacy, depth of emotion. It's the time when there is strong support as well. You might be feeling a little bit more involved and vulnerable when it comes to your emotional life. We sort of find support. We replenish our reserves, our emotional reserves during this time, our foundation that make us feel secure, that help us grow outside in the outer world. So it's a time to prop yourself up, connect with your family, being with the people who make you feel comfortable. It is the time to set up the ground rules as well in your home and family, because the balance between your career and your home and family might come into focus. It's a time when you might be discovering new joys when it comes to your family as well, doing something in the nature with your family, or setting up a garden or some sort of organic fruits or something comfortable, luxurious and happy with the family, making something for your house which could be artistic, which could be comfortable, which could be a little bit luxurious even. It's the time for safety, security and comfort at home. It's a little bit of time, a little bit of heaven in between the volatility that we are in the middle of, where we create a safe cove for our private life. It's the time to focus on your real estate as well. What needs to be done in terms of repairing, adding something, or acquiring new real estate, looking at properties, looking at fixed assets, some sort of a beautiful fixed asset like a vehicle, or you might be looking at your existing mortgage and figuring out if there are financial aspects of that need shift. Home, real estate, furniture, your home structure, the foundation of your family, garden in your house, storage in your house, property structure, valuation of your property, parents, family, all these matters might have come into focus. But what happened is that we just had a full moon in the opposite sign of your career right now. So we had a full moon about a day or two back, when we had the sun and moon in opposition with each other. And that is a theme for the next 2 weeks for you. Opposition and creating a balance between your career and your family life might come into focus over the course of next 2 weeks, because what's happening is that something related to career, something related to a job, something related to a sort of something intense even that you need to sort of deliver on, that comes into focus over here. Your career transformation, your public image could come into focus. You will be in spotlight when it comes to your work at this point in time, and something important can come for delivery at this stage, and this is beneficial for you. It is making a positive aspect with Neptune in your house of finances at this time. So something lucrative can come up in career if you perform well at this stage. You could be put in a position where you need to sort of do some sort of detailed analysis, which could be intense in nature, where you need to sort of go deeper down and figure out something. It could be related to investment even. It could be a position where there could be a little bit of power struggle at career that you need to manage as well. This is a period when you would possibly gain something out of your career, provided you give it your single attention. But this is happening at a time when your home and family comes into focus, and this is always the opposite side of the platform which always comes into focus. We are always trying to balance these two sides. But the next 2 weeks, something related to your career transformation could come into focus, and that might have initiated with a full moon that happened around 7th or 8th of May. And you'll see more conversations, more discussions happening in the coming weeks with it. Around 15th to 17th of May, we have Jupiter standing still and making a positive aspect with Sun between 15th to 17th of May. These are the dates when you can feel very sure footed to do something, and it can help you deliver something positive when it comes to your career. You can use the faith, the strong feeling of growth within you that you're feeling that Jupiter is sort of creating inside you, because Jupiter is in your house of faith. It is expanding your faith, it is bringing out these hidden desires and faith within you to create something different when it comes to your career. It is creating an intense need of transformation. It is creating an intense need to go beyond your past to move forward. It wants to leave behind the past and go for what you truly need for yourself. Rewards for the past karma, rewards for the duties that you've already done. These are also some very good dates for your home and family life. 15th to 17th of May is when we can feel sure footed in life. It's like that brief moment when you think that you've got it, you've got the balance between the two, and you're able to deliver, and it's based on internal feeling. It is like a secret hand of God or some sort of faith in your destiny, which helps you deliver that balance between the two and helps you drive some career shift at the time. This is especially true. The project or a job or a career coming to forefront and something important that is coming for delivery is very true if you have planets between 17, about 2 or 3 degrees before and after 17 degree of Aquarius. And this is happening if you are an Aquarius sun around 7th of February born, especially for people who are born around 7th of February and 17 degree of Aquarius. So beautiful, beautiful delivery of something in the career. But what happens is that Jupiter is going retrograde over the course of next couple of months. So the external influences on whatever is being given to you between 15th to 17th of May will pause. We'll be sort of left till September to grow the opportunity that is coming our way, or the breakthrough that we are seeing right now. We'll be required to grow that by ourselves. When Jupiter goes retrograde, it is a social planet. We also have Saturn, your ruler, going retrograde as well. When these planets go retrograde, the external influences pause for a moment. So for the next couple of months, you'll find yourself restructuring your career, restructuring your growth opportunities without external influences, as well as to some extent external support. You would have to learn to restructure these things by your own will, by your own intent to some extent, because you're creating your own rules of the game over here. That brings me to Saturn. That brings me to Saturn, your traditional ruler, which after 29 years is now in your sign. Since 21st of March, Saturn moved into your sign, and it will stay there for the next 2.5 years. Very briefly, it will move out of your sign between 1st of July till 17th of December, but it is largely in your sign all the way till 7th of March 2023. This is the most important transit that you'll have in your life, because Saturn is your ruler, is your traditional ruler. It defines the material success in your life. And having Saturn in your sign redefines who you are, what your external identity is. This is a major life transit for you. It's a time to sort of take a leap from the past identity to a new one, a whole new sense of what's ahead for you. An element of fear is there because there's uncertainty in terms of where you are exactly going. It might be a little bit unknown, but as you start to walk, you'll find new possibilities, and you'll start to walk initially basis the faith that you have created in yourself over the course of last 2.5 years when Saturn was in your house of faith. You have restructured and to some extent addressed the demons within, which sort of stop us from being who we truly need to be in our external life. It has removed the blockages, and now Jupiter is there. It is expanding your sense of self. It is expanding your faith. It is expanding your hidden talents even. So this new chapter of your life can begin. You're to some extent free of old karma. free of old chain, free of old fears. There's a new life ahead of you that you're creating over the course of next 2.5 years. You'll be recreating your self image, which includes your external image, which includes the way you look, our hair, our clothes, the way we present ourselves, the way we speak. We change and discipline ourselves to recreate our external identity here. You sort of become more than what you have ever been before, and you take more responsibility of your outer image and build the new identity, which is based on the current trends. To some extent, Saturn is being squared by Uranus, and it is a very loose square right now. They're close to 4 or 5 degrees apart right now, which is a very loose square. In 2021, starting from Jan itself, these two will become very exactly square with each other. Uranus adds the zing, it adds the sudden shifts in our life. And Uranus is sitting in your house of security. It wants you to move away from the old security blanket to some extent, because it wants to open up your self expression. It wants you to be very bold when it comes to handling other people. Uranus is going to free not just the way you are in your family life, it will release what kind of leader you are. It will evolve that completely. It will evolve the way you are in your professional life. And it will happen through a set of sudden changes, because Uranus operates through sudden changes, and it is sitting in the very foundation, the very ground you stand on. So the home life and the family life and even the place of living is subjected to sudden shifts to sort of release you out of the old attachments, release you out of the old sense of security even. And many of you might have already experienced shifts in your personal life, experience shifts in your connection with your parents, sort of experience that in terms of your place of living even, because Uranus first touched down this house in 2018. It briefly came here, and this is a critical change for you because it is coming in your very foundation. This is a very, very important transit. Your critical axis, which are normally fixed, the things that are normally fixed in your life, they are getting transformed with it. So Uranus came here first time in 2018, did a little bit of touchdown, went out, and then came fully in from March of 2019, and it will stay there till 2026. Doesn't mean that the whole 7 years there will be sudden shifts, though it's a critical house. There will be changes that will keep happening. But the exact degree when it is activated of your ascendant or of your sun or of your moon is when we see physical shifts. And that shift extends over 2 years approximately. The first 10 degrees of Aquarius might have already experienced the start of all of this, the first year of it. The first 10 degree of Aquarius, if you are an Aquarius sun, is December born Aquarius. So you might have experienced a little bit of start of it, even like just something began to happen. I'm sorry, not December born, that will be Capricorn. I meant January born Aquarius. So close to 22nd to 27th January born Aquarius might have already experienced that. And I have my very close family member who has been engaged, and that is shift that suddenly happens in your parental life, in the life of your parents to some extent, that puts you in a leadership position, that puts you as the head of the family. It puts you in a position where you have to shift the things that used to make you feel secure, because you are being pushed towards more independence. You are being pushed towards taking more in charge, more control of your own life without any external impetus. This is where we become independent of everything and anything that used to make us feel safe before. And because of that, we can feel a little bit uprooted, because the uprooting is happening to benefit you though. It's the time where we don't want to be attached to a specific place, because everything that is coming in our life, that is coming right now to add to us, and then it might go away. That means that influences can come in our life that would be sort of quickly coming in to add something to you, and then they'll move away from your life. You You'll even find, to some extent, family away from your family to some extent, because you will be becoming friends with people who you did not become friends with before, and they could be away from your family. You could discover a family or people who give you comfort that are not really part of your family. You'll be searching for peace through space, through freedom. You'll sort of need your space at this time, because there's a strong and sudden urge to move, to set free, to change things up. To This is like birds leaving the nest, right? So you sort of are going to leave the nest here. There are contacts from the past that are sort of cut. There are a lot of cutting of the cord that happens, separation that happens from the parents, from the places that used to give us comfort, like a home to some extent. The parental home, there could be a separation from the parental home or the place of birth over here. But the separation is a very negative word to say. This is more to cut the base from, like if there's a kite which is flying from attached to a stone on the ground, that thread that ties the kite to that stone on the ground, that thread is being cut because the kite needs to fly higher over here. Saturn is trying to recreate who you are as a leader, asking you to become more individual, more of an individual contributor. And this changes the very essence of you as a sign. As a sign Aquarius, you're a sign who's the center of a network. What you bring to the table, which is so valuable, is that you have the ability to bring people together to contribute collectively in a network. You're sort of a central figure in a network. You are a connector of dots. You sort of leverage a network to create something valuable. Your social role is of great, great significance to people. Whatever part of the organization you are, or you're running your own business, this is your biggest strength. But what's happening when we are hit with Uranus? Changes our entire personality. To some extent, it will push us to become individual contributor, which is in line with North Node being in your house of individuality as well. North Node or Rahu is the way to success, is the road to success. The adjectives of how we should be over the course of next 1.5 years, they are defined by North Node. I'll speak about that in separate video, but the essence of that is very much in line with this, that from being a group contributor, in some ways you will be driven to be an individual contributor to some extent. Not just pooling talents, but being okay with showing your individuality and your individual talent as well. So you'll be creating an identity away from whatever used to give you comfort. So if a network used to give comfort, if your family used to give comfort, or there was a large organization, a large network of people that used to give you comfort to be who you need to be, or there was a platform that used to give you comfort, you're moving away from that comfort zone, and your career will evolve significantly in a very gainful fashion because of you taking certain calculated risk. As I said, this is very much in unison with what North Node is trying to tell you. North Node is in your house of taking a little bit of calculated risk. It will prompt you, possibly driven by some shifts that are happening in your personal life, shifts that are happening in your own capacity, in your own method of deriving security. You'll want to be free of any fixity in your life, and that will prompt you, put you in situations of taking a little bit of more risk on yourself. North Node in your house of passions will drive you to follow your passions to some extent, your own creative impulses, putting yourself out there. And success and gains will be through taking a little bit of chance on your own talents, taking chances on your own individuality. This is not about the network, this is not about the company, this is not about the other people. This is about you standing on your own 2 feet, making it. And the conflict that Saturn and Uranus bring are are very obvious in the way the two planets act. One is asking us to be very disciplined, taking responsibility of our life, and the other one wants to just set free. Merging the two sides of you, this inner tension that you're going to feel throughout 2021, is the key to success. But the exact places where these two planets are placed will put you in a position where you'll be working really hard to sort of show your individuality at work, do well when it comes to your external identity, recreating your professional identity, and Uranus might be creating some amount of volatility in your personal life or place of living. These are the two things that can come in conflict with each other. There could be some sudden changes in your personal circumstances, some amount of volatility in personal life, which can come in the way of your individual growth or career. You want to be independent, you want to be free, you want to take a few risks, but your duties to your family or your own security could keep you back. These are two parts of you that you'll have to merge with each other. You have to remember that with Uranus in your house of security, whatever used to give you security and safety before is not going to cut it anymore. So this whole concept of moving back to what was is of no use at this stage. You have to evolve out of your old security blanket because there is so much more ahead for you. And Saturn and Uranus both have that common message embedded in them. Saturn is trying to recreate you. It's saying that let's wipe out whatever happened in the last 29 years. You are being reborn as your external identity, as your physical body, as your career. So this is very much your own internal conflict, and it could be a little bit of inertia that needs to be given up as well for us to come away from this repressive fear that is within us, to go for it, to take a little bit of risk on ourselves. There is a urge, intuition that is driving you towards something that you know could be the source of your abundance and growth going forward. So Saturn will give you the discipline to pursue that leap of faith to some extent. It will give you the discipline as well as to some extent the structure for it. So the next couple of months while Saturn is retrograde all the way till September, you might be recreating the structure of who you are becoming. You will be setting up new rule book, new boundaries. What do I want out of it? How do I want to structure it? Where did I say yes in the past? Where I need to say no, so my individuality and my individual interests is taken care of. We would also have Venus, the planet of relationships, go retrograde. Between 13th of May to 25th of June, when that happens, we learn how to deal with our the partners in our life, the business partners, as well as the relationships in our life. We learn to speak up about the things that we need in the relationships. Sometimes we tend to brush all that off because we are so ready to make things work. Especially your sign is about making things work together. You want to take people along with you. But somewhere in trying to take people along, your individuality and your individual interests could have been lost. Venus will wake you up about that. Venus is all about self expression of your unique self over here, being special, radiating out, showing confidence, learning to love your own uniqueness, your own taste, the child within you, nurturing that, nurturing your creativity, giving space to your own joy over here. So Venus will remind you how what it feels to love yourself again, what it feels like to be passionate and alive again when it comes to especially your personal life and your hobbies and with your children. It sort of will wake that up, and that could happen because of something old coming back in your life. It could even be an ex that comes back in your life, or it could be just a hobby that is latent, that was left behind, some creative interest that you had before and you were not able to pursue anymore. That coming back, that will wake you up to your own appetite to take risk going forward. It will wake you up to your own passion and love for your own life, and that could happen through a little bit of conflict even. That could happen. You want to take certain risk when Venus is here. You want to sort of go ahead and do things that satisfy you, and that can come with a little bit of conflict with your ability to generate value. Is this really worth what I'm spending on it? It could come with a little bit of friction that can happen with the people in your life at the time, and you would find yourself being a little bit of a rebel, especially in the first week of June. When that happens, you sort of have to make a choice when Venus goes retrograde. The choice is between whether you choose yourself or you choose to make others happy. And Venus has your interest in mind. It has your own goodwill in mind. Another thing Venus retrograde brings back is investment appetite, our capacity to take risk when it comes to money, when it comes to investments, when it comes to even our love life and our children to some extent. So you sort of might be reviewing something that has monetary aspect attached to it. Maybe you want to make an expense, maybe something you want to spend on something that makes you happy. You have desires that were maybe left latent and they are waking up and you want to satisfy them, and Venus will has one objective: to make you happy, to get you what you truly want. It does not have a whole lot of long term agenda over here, but it wants to wake you up to that, and it wants you to learn how to speak up for yourself when it comes to relationships and partnerships. It wants you to voice what you desire in love, what you desire with your children. Your communication with your children will go through some amount of shift. The communication with your loved ones will go through some amount of review, and it could come through a little bit of friction that can reach its height in the first week of June. You could feel that maybe I'm not getting my desired share, and from that comes the shift. That comes the authentic asking for what you truly want. And why we're talking about that is that because the square of Saturn and Uranus has a common message with this. It agrees with this. It agrees with wanting to cut ties from the past and voicing what you truly want. But the volatility in your personal life would be a little bit of element which is common across these two. And you'll find that really, really potently in January of 2021, and you might be seeing a preview of that at this moment. There are two parts of you which are both inherently part of you: the desire to set free and the other to create something long term for you and for yours, that both need to be integrated. Saturn gives the discipline. The way I look at it, these two planets are giving you the best of each other. Saturn is giving you discipline to recreate your destiny, to recreate your career. Uranus is adding the zing to it, the excitement to it. It is cutting off your attachment to the old security blanket so you can take a few calculated risks going forward. So that's what I had for you, Aquarius. I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.